that well, but I mean, the nano gold dust is smaller than a nucleus. So when you shoot this gun, which is basically a modified air pistol, you shoot it with this shotgun, but the shot is smaller than nuclei. What you get is a kill zone in the middle and a ring of transfection. It's, I guess, an annular ring. I love that word, but I mean, so you get this circle of where that statistical probability is 100% sometimes, just in a ring, and it's about this big. But that would just get the DNA into the nuclei. Without plasmid or vectors, sometimes that's not enough to get it into the genome. But if you have a lot of DNA in a nuclei of a cell, where does it go? Does it go nowhere? Does it have an effect? Would the effect, if it's not called genetic modification, what would the effect be called if there was one?
Okay, you cannot detect what happened.
That's true. No, there's no markers. This is like abstract art. I mean, this is Jackson Pollock. There's no markers. You get a ring of question mark. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, not knowing doesn't mean that there's no effect. It just means there's no control. And control craves control. That's what Burroughs said. But that doesn't mean that all genetic modification has to be based on control. It can be based on abstraction, or even weirder, just a, what's it called? Poetic permutation, you know, like stuff, like jazz. I mean, this is jazz. I was working last week with zinc fingers, and basically those things just go into the genome with a whip, and they whip the shit out of the genome 1,000 different ways at once. They just beat the crap out of it. And then they're basically saying, well, it's whole genome, you know, reprogramming. I'm like, it's whole genome ass whooping. And at the same time, you get amazing effects, you know, atavistic traits decanalized, you know, but that doesn't mean you know what you're getting, but it is, you can track it backwards with some markers. So what you're doing is you're actually inciting anarchy and then marking it for later, like what you can use.
This procedure is much different than what you propose in your application. I mean, you're talking about zinc finger things, and you're talking about markers, and that's not what you propose.
Paul, not everybody in this room is a biologist. Maybe can you explain the difference between the two?